Hello everyone. So in this video, we will understand the concept of acceleration. So first of all, we need to understand what basically is the acceleration. So mostly we misunderstood the concept of acceleration with increase in velocity, but that is absolutely wrong. Acceleration doesn't mean increase in velocity, but the acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, and it is represented by the symbol small a. So let us understand this concept with an example. Let us consider a car is moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second, and after some time at point B, its velocity is 60 meters per second. So if I am asking you, will there be any acceleration in this case? So my answer to this question is yes, there will be an acceleration in this case. There is an acceleration in this case as the velocity of an object of this car is changing with respect to time. First of all, its velocity was 40 meters per second, but at point B, its velocity is 60 meters per second. So its velocity gets changed. So I can say the car is accelerating. Now let us consider another example. A car is again moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second. After some time at point B, हमने देखा इसकी velocity कितनी है 40 meters per second. So will there be any acceleration? So my answer to this question is no. There is no acceleration in this case because there is no change in velocity between point A to point B. There is no acceleration in this case. So I hope we understand the concept of acceleration. We understand the definition of acceleration, that acceleration is change in velocity with respect to time. So let's understand its formula now. Acceleration is change in velocity upon time. If u is my initial velocity, v is my final velocity, then formula becomes a is equal to v minus u upon t. So the formula for acceleration is v minus u upon t. Now SI unit of acceleration, the formula for acceleration is velocity upon change in velocity upon time. So SI unit is velocity as a SI unit meter per second and time as a SI unit second. So acceleration has the formula SI unit meter per second square. Now acceleration is a scalar quantity or vector quantity. So acceleration is a vector quantity because it depends on velocity. As velocity is a vector quantity, so acceleration is also a vector quantity. Now next, calculation of acceleration. So let us consider an example. A scooter is moving with a velocity of 20 meters per second, and after some time its velocity gets increased, that is 30 meters per second in 5 seconds. So if I want to find out what is acceleration in that case, so acceleration has a formula a is equal to v minus u upon t. So here v is 30 meters per second. V means final velocity. 30 minus u is 20 meters per second. Time is 5 seconds. So that is 10 upon 5. That will be equal to 2 meter per second square. So my acceleration in this case is 2 meter per second square. So this is the way we calculate acceleration. Now acceleration could be positive, negative and zero depending on the situation. Now let's understand this concept with some examples that when acceleration is positive, negative or zero. So first of all, let us consider a car is moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second. Now at point B, its velocity becomes 60 meters per second in 10 seconds. So if I calculate my acceleration in this case, it will come out to be 2 meter per second square. And this 2 meter per second square is positive because my velocity of an object, velocity of this car is increasing. At point A it was 40 and at point B it is 60. So the velocity of an object is increases. So in this case the acceleration would be positive. Let's understand another example. A car is again moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second. Now, after moving some distance, it comes at rest. If it will come at rest, then its velocity becomes 0 meters per second in 10 seconds. Now, if I calculate its acceleration, it will come out to be 0 minus 40 upon 10, that is minus 4 meter per second square. Why negative? Because my velocity of this car is decreasing with respect to time. So, in this case, acceleration would be negative. So, this is known as negative acceleration. And negative acceleration is also known as retardation. Negative acceleration is also known as retardation. So, when the velocity of an object is increasing, the acceleration would be positive, and when the velocity of an object is decreasing, the acceleration would be negative. Now, let us consider another example. A car is moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second. After some time, its velocity is same 40 meters per second in 10 seconds. Now, in this case, there is no increase or decrease in the velocity, or we can say there is no change in the velocity with respect to time. So, in this case, if I calculate the acceleration, it will come out to be 0. So, this is the example of zero acceleration. When there is no change in the velocity of an object with respect to time, that acceleration is zero acceleration. Now, there are two types of acceleration. First one is uniform acceleration. Another one is non-uniform acceleration. So, first of all, uniform acceleration, let's understand its definition. When velocity of an object changes by equal amount in equal intervals of time, then it is said to be in uniform acceleration. Let's understand this concept with an example. Let us consider a car is moving on the road. At point A, its velocity is 40 meters per second, and at point B, its velocity is 60 meters per second after 2 seconds. Again, after 2 seconds, its velocity is at point C is 80 meters per second. So, you can see in this example that in every 2 seconds, the velocity is changing by 20 meters per second. The velocity is changing by 20 meters per second. So, I can say this is an example of uniform acceleration. The car is accelerating uniformly because in equal time interval, the car is changing equal velocity. So, this is an example of uniform acceleration. Now, non-uniform acceleration. When velocity of an object changes by unequal amount in equal intervals of time, then it is said to be in non-uniform acceleration. Let's understand this with an example. Let us again consider a car moving on the road with a velocity of 40 meters per second. After 2 seconds, its velocity is found to be 60 meters per second. Again, after 2 seconds, its velocity is 65 meters per second. Now, in this example, you can see that in between the point A and point B, the change in velocity is 20 meters per second. But between point B and point C, the change in velocity is 5 meters per second. So, in first 2 seconds, the velocity changes by 20 meters per second. But after 2 seconds, the change in velocity is 5 meters per second. So, change in velocity is different in every 2 seconds. So, we can say this is an example of non-uniform acceleration. So, I hope you are clear with the concept. If you have any doubt, please ask in comment section, and do like, subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.